Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name's Chris, and welcome to LinuxTechGeek. Are you guys tiling window manager fans? Are you guys tired of writing your keybinds in every single tiling window manager? Well, this video might be for you then. So I found this program. It's called SXHKD. It's a simple hotkey Xdamian. Now, virtually what that means is it means that you put all of your keybinds in this program's configuration file, and then you can use this program for your keybinds in every single tiling window manager that you want. You can even use it, I believe you could probably use it in KDE if you're running the Damian. You could run it in GNOME, and I think it just makes it really easy for you to manage your keybinds through all these other different tiling window managers. So if we go to the website here before we get started, and let me flip the, there we go. I do apologize about that. I'm still getting used to Qtile. All right. So if we go over to the website right here, you can see this program has been around forever. I believe there's been quite a bit of different YouTubers go over this program as well, but this is kind of the first time I've ever played around with it. Now, the reason I am going to be using this probably is simply because I think I screwed up on my DWM config. For some reason, if I mess up on a key chord in DWM, so let's say I hit, I try to open up Emacs. Normally I open up Emacs with Super E and then E. But if I hit Super E and then Super E again, for some reason, DWM keeps locking up on me. And I don't know if it's the key chord patch. I don't know. I really don't know what I did wrong. So I've been thinking about switching over to something like this, just so that way I don't have to patch DWM anymore for the key chords. That's another thing about this program, is that it supports key chords right outside the box. So any window manager, or tiling window manager rather, that you want key chords, you could use this and it would work. Even if the tiling window manager doesn't natively support tiling window managers. Another good thing about this is that it would keep your configuration file to a minimum inside all of your tiling window managers. A lot of times the biggest portion of your configuration file in a tiling window manager is the keybinds or the key chords. So this is a way to kind of keep some of that stuff separate. But let's go ahead, and I wanted to start from scratch here. So I pulled up a VM, and I believe yeah, I have a VM of Red Core. You guys seen me install Red Core. I think it's been about a couple weeks now, but I really haven't done anything with it. The only thing that I did do is I went ahead and installed DWM, and I do have the auto start patch installed with it. But other than that, I haven't done much. And the reason we're going to be installing SXHKD on Red Core here instead of my actual Gen 2 box is simply because if we mess up on a configuration, or if I have to, for some reason, get out of X, I won't have to stop recording OBS, then and then remake the recording. So it's just a whole lot easier doing something like this inside of a virtual machine. But I'm going to show you guys the commands to get SXHKD installed, no matter what distro you're running. So first thing we're going to do here is I'm going to do an Xrandr 1920 by 1280, or is it 1280 by 1920? I don't know why I can't remember that. Am I this silly? 1920. External 1920, but oh, forgot the dash S. Jeez. Okay. Now that we got that working, let me go get in full screen here. I am super slow today. But alright. So this is DWM. You guys have seen DWM pretty much in the past, but here on Red Core, I'm not going to use Sisyphus, but you could use Sisyphus to install it. If you were on Arch Linux, you could just do pacman or sudo pacman. So you could do something like this: sudo pacman SXHKD. That would install it. If you was on Ubuntu or a Ubuntu derivative or Debian derivative, then it would be sudo install XXHKD. However, us here on a Gen 2 based distro, we could just do emerge XXHKD like that. And the reason I'm using emerge instead of Sisyphus is simply because emerge works both with Gen 2 and probably any other Gen 2 derivative distros out there. So we got that installed. Well, how do we fire up this thing, right? Like, what do we do? So if we just run the program, it simply says cannot open configuration file in home Chris config XXHKD SXHKD RC. So that SXHKD RC is the actual configuration file that is trying to read. Now, if you did not want to make this directory and you did want to put SXHKD in maybe your Qtile directory, or if you wanted to put it in your DWM directory to kind of keep everything together, you could give it the -C flag right here, and then you could point it to the actual configuration file that you was wanting to use. And that's probably what we're going to be doing, simply because if I go ahead, if I install Qtile on this thing right now, or if I install Xmonad or whatever, right, then I could put these different SXHKD RC files in each of my window manager directories, and I know which one I'm going to read from. So that's kind of the way I'm going to be doing it. I've never written one of these, so we are going to have to go to the website a couple of times. That way I can check out some of the documentation, but it should be pretty straightforward. But let's go ahead and make this file. So we do make a directory, and then we'll call it XXHKD, and then we're going to put that in our config. I don't really have a DWM. You know what? Go ahead and make a directory in our config, and we'll make it SXHKD. We'll do it the way the documentation shows right now, and then later on, if I ever install Qtile on this thing, then I'll show you guys how to do a custom one. I forgot, but DWM, it really doesn't use a, well, I'll take that back. It kind of does. It's in my home directory. So you can see I do got the auto start patch, but we could just do make directory SXHKD. It doesn't even matter if you make the directory or not. I'm pretty sure. And then if we touch SXHKD RC, now if we want to fire this up, and then you have to do the -C. We can do and the hotkey daemon is actually running right now. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the term hotkey or keybinds or anything like that, let me show you. If I turn on a screen key here, so as you can see, that super enter, that's a keybind, or that's a hotkey, depending on how you want to say it. That's all that means. That's all the terminology is. It's pretty much the same. The super P, that's a hotkey, the keybind, right? So whenever I say hotkey or keybind, just know that those two words, they interchange. It's practically the same thing. The only difference is if I say the word key chord. Now, key chord is a little bit different than a keybind. And what a key chord is if I hit Control P, and then if I hit P on top of it, you see I hit 3 different keys there. That's a key chord. So whenever I say key chord, think of something like Emacs where it's like keybind, keybind. If you hit 2 keybinds at the same time, that's typically what a key chord is, whereas just a regular keybind is just simply a key, and then it performs an action, right? So I hit the key, super enter, the action now becomes open up a terminal. I hope that makes sense for you guys. I try to explain that right, but let's go ahead and kill screen key. I don't have a way to turn it off without killing it in the process, but let's go ahead and go back. So we are running the SXHKD daemon right now. As you can see, it's running. It seems to work. However, we don't have anything. We don't have anything in our configuration file. It's reading a blank file right now with nothing really in it. So you may be asking, well, if you're using DWM, how can we get this to start every single time, right? So that's one of the things I want to get done is we want to make sure that DWM knows to fire this thing up whenever DWM launches. It is a daemon, which means that whenever you boot into your window manager, you do need to make this a startup process. Now, in Qtile, Xmonad, BSPWM, all of those other window managers, typically having a process load up or start up when the window manager starts up is pretty easy. And DWM, it's a little bit different though, because you do have to install the auto start patch, and that's exactly why I had the auto start patch down there. So if I change directory to my auto start and then we BIM into it, how we're going to accomplish this, we're going to accomplish this is I'm just going to say SXHKD, and remember we need to give it the -C flag because we need to point it to the directory. So the directory for me is going to be DWM, and then I think I put it in SXHKD. That is a mouthful. And then SXHKDRC. And I'm pretty sure I could do something like this. If not, we might have to surround that in quotes or something. But I'm pretty I'm like 95% sure that's how I can accomplish this. All right. So with that being said, let's vim into SXHKD and let's write a small configuration file. So how we do this, let me go ahead and get over to my show notes here, which is the documentation, because I really don't have any show notes. But I can do so let's make one. Let's make a simple one, and let's make one for D menu. Now for D menu, I'm gonna have to re-edit my DWM config so I can get rid of D menu launching from that, just to show you guys that I'm not using the keybinds in D menu or in DWM. I'm actually using this program. But how we do this is typically you put your keybind. So for us, it's going to be super plus P. That's what I like for me to launch D menu, right? And then we do D menu underscore run. And that's it. So you write the keybind, and then below it, you write the command that you want to happen, right? And then if I wanted, I don't know, we could do, is super capitalized? I don't think super is capitalized. Yeah. Okay, that looks better. I'm looking at the manual here. There's not a whole lot on their website. They just give you a couple of examples, and so we're going to try this one first. Like I said, I've never wrote one of these, so we might screw up here. Okay, so this should launch D menu underscore run. But first, like I said, we do need to fix DWM real fast. So config, remove that. Let me vim into this. Right here. This is the keybind that we want to get rid of, right? So the way we do it is we can put a we're going to do something like this. And all this does is it makes my D menu command, it's going to make it, it's going to comment that whole entire line out. This is how you make comments in the C programming language. So that looks good. Let me write and quit this. Write and quit. And then let me remake it. Looks like it made fine. Okay. Made install. Now we need to we need to restart it. And log back in. Let me see if SXHKD is running. So I'm going to launch HTOP here. SXH. Okay, it looks like it's running. And F10 here. And now, if I hit Control P, it should launch D menu underscore run. And there it is. It's as simple as that. Right? Now, the reason this is so good is because I could make a generic one, or I could make one that's split among all my window managers. Like, let's say if I just wanted my applications to run off of this off of this SXHKD, right? Just applications. Maybe I'll let the window manager take care of the window manager things like resizing, sending to different workspaces and all of that stuff. But I just want SXHKD to launch my applications. And I want it to be split among all of my window managers. I could do that. I could make one file. And as long as I loaded that daemon up with that configuration file on startup, it should work. And as you can see, my DWM keybinds also work. And that's the beauty of this thing, is that, you know, I can have my applications in one file, and then I could just have my window manager stuff in a separate one. Or what I could do is I could actually do my window manager stuff in SXHKD as well. So let's go ahead and make a couple more here, because I want Alacrity to spawn when we do this also. So what I'm gonna have to do is we will have to remake DWM here, but let me so that's my terminal, right? So we can do something like this. We don't need terminal, because what else we got? So we got terminal. I don't have a lot on this virtual machine. That's why I'm trying to think of things at the top of my head here to put in. Okay. So as you can see through my configuration file, we don't have a keybind for we don't have a keybind for Firefox either. We don't have a keybind, and we're going to turn off the my terminal keybind. So that's what we just got undone there, and we want SXHKD to control all that. So I'm going to write it, and then I'll go ahead and make install here. Okay, now that I made install. Let's go to SXHKD. Let's film into this file right here. And now what we can do is we can do super plus, what do I want? I want super plus inner. So let me look at the documentation here a little bit, and then I'm pretty sure inner is just, it doesn't, maybe that's how you do it. I'm not sure. The documentation is very limited on their actual website. But that does make sense. So we can just do Alacrity. Okay. And now I want to show you guys how to make a keybind as well. So the configuration is a little different on this one. I'm trying to see a good example. So if we did super plus F, and then we have to give it a semicolon, and then we have to give it a little bracket here, and then we could put any key that we want in this little bracket. So if we do super FF, Actually, you know what? We're going to do Super B for browser, right? And then we'll do F for Firefox. I think that would be pretty good. So this looks like how you would do something like this, according to their website. And then what we put down here is we put the actual command that we would we want to fire up. And that's just going to be Firefox. Now, let's say, now with the key chord, typically what you would do is you would have Super B, B, Super B, E, you know, like stuff like that, right? So if we had a different program, let's say that we had Qt browser, right? Let's let me install Qt browser real fast. Sisyphus install Qt browser. Hopefully this doesn't take all day to install. That's what I'm trying to install the binary here. Oh no. Wants an E build. Trying to think of another. Maybe install links. I need a graphical. Oh, Chromium is installed. Okay, okay. This is good. We can use the Chromium example. I wasn't familiar that Chromium is installed on the on this. Okay, this is all right. We can definitely use that. So for this example, so if we hit Super B plus F, it's going to launch Firefox. If we hit Super B plus C, it's going to launch Chromium. So what we do right here in these brackets, get back in insert mode, and then you separate everything by commas. So the next one would be C, just like that, right? And then for looks like for Firefox, I would just hit the next one down in the list here. So this looks like how you would do something like this. So pretty much the first key is going to associate with the first program in the list. The second key would be the second program. And obviously if there was a third key or a fourth key, it would go in order. So whenever you write out what commands you want it to use, just make sure that you kind of go in order. But I'm pretty sure that's how something like this works. Let's log out here. Okay. So the first one is super enter, should launch Alacrity because I took that away in DWM. That does not work. Okay. It's okay. I didn't think that was going to work. Just because I don't know how to do the, I don't know how SXHKD does enter. So I'm going to have to manually fix that. Let me make sure it is running. SXHKD. It is, the Damien is running. Okay. But let's try the keybind here. So if I do Super B and F, it should launch Firefox. So let's turn on screen key. So Super B, F. Are you going to make a liar out of me? Super B, C? Super B, C? All right. Super B, F. All right. I did not do something right. And this is why we were doing this the way we are doing it now. Let me look at one more little note here. I don't understand because I'm trying to. I don't know why it did not. Does it not do enter? Oh, because it's not enter, it's return. Okay, that was completely. See, that's my bad. Screen key. Oh, screen key. So I was thinking that the key was called enter. It's not. For SXHKD, it's actually called return, which makes sense because technically it is return on the keyboard. All right, so that was completely my bad. But this one, unless I messed up right here, this one should have worked. Let's go ahead and log out here. Okay, there it goes. It did work. So that was my fault. Just make sure that if you do use this and you want to use the enter key, make sure you call it return with a capital R, and that should work. Okay, let's check out our keybind here. So if I do super F and then B, no, super B, then F, super B, F, oh God. Super B, C, or is it super B, super C? The key chord is not working the way that it's supposed to, because it's supposed to be super B, C for Chromium. I don't know what. Yeah, that's weird. Unless I'm using. You know why? Because I think there's another keybind that's toggling. See that? You see how it's toggling my top bar right there? That could be why. Okay, let's fix that then. So let's turn it to, I don't know, super F. Make sure super F is not. Yeah, super F is another keybind. Okay, let me think. Super E? Alright, Super E is not a keybind. I do apologize about this. Like I said, this is my first time ever using this. So, change word, and then we'll put E right there. This should work. Go ahead and restart it to Damien. And then we can do, okay. And then we'll do Control E, F. There it is. All right. So that's all I really need to do. Control E, C, there's Chromium. Okay. All right. So that's what I kind of screwed up on. But if you guys decide to use this, just know that there is a couple nuances. Like I said, you do need to go ahead and make sure that return is used instead of the enter keyword there. But this, I really do think that this program could save you a lot of time. Like I said, you are going to have to write the script one time, but at least you don't have to write it, 10 to 15 times, especially if you use a lot of tiling window managers, like I do myself. So I do want to thank you guys for watching this episode. Thank you to everyone who has been subscribing to the channel. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, you guys take care, be safe, and peace. Bye, guys.